Morning traders, welcome to the Asian preview, North American wrap from PrivateerFX. It's kind of a headline day, albeit a very quiet trading day, kind of a typical Monday. We all knew as of yesterday that Special Prosecutor Miller was going to arrest several players today. We weren't exactly sure, but it turns out this morning in New York, early New York, he has arrested the former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort, who's also a political consultant in the Ukraine, alongside his longtime aide Rick Gates. They're being charged with lying to the FBI, conspiracy, money laundering to the tune of like $75 million over the past 10 years. So, this caused a little bit of risk off early, and then when they announced the names of who they're arresting, the market kind of took it in stride. More importantly, there were some corporate tax plans still under discussion. Came from a source today. Market perceived that as the tax reform is a long way away, and there's still many divisions amongst the parties. So actually, risk did get hit a bit, and dollar yen sold off. You can see there's a daily dollar yen. We were up at around 113.60 when that news came out, and it came down and it took out this big support level we've been talking about for the past week of 113.25. Very grindy move down, held the half fib 113.06. We still think there's some lower levels for this to test. The dollar index was down about 0.3%, as you can see here today. One of the weaker days it's had in a while. Um, most of that being euro. You can see here euro closed right near the highs of the day. Sterling right near the highs of the day. Australian dollar, which has just been clobbered the past couple weeks. We did have that reversal lower day and closed below the 200 day. We had the reversal higher day on Friday's trading, and we pretty much traded straight up today, just below this all-important 200-day moving average. So this is going to be a key pivot now. We got the first daily close back on Thursday, under the 200-day since June, and now we're right back up and testing that level again. I like to see a test of this old low and this fibbo, this third fib, somewhere around 77.20.30. I could see us getting one more bounce. We do have the BOJ tonight. We have China PMI, manufacturing, non-manufacturing, coming out at the same time. The manufacturing numbers expected to be slightly weaker than last. We also have Australian private sector credit, which can move it at least in knee-jerk fashion. Tomorrow we have Bank of Canada's Governor's Polos. His testimony is tomorrow morning during New York. Also, Eurozone GDP. We have the U.S. Employment Cost Index, which is widely followed by the Fed. So there are a few economic hotspots coming up in the next session. Take a look over here and see if we had spoken about a few setups on the daily reversals. Here's a crude oil chart that's had a huge run up from 49 up to 54.50, just shy of 54.50. Kind of a doji type day here. Let's watch this next bar for any confirmation of a correction back down. That has had a monster run up. Dollar Swiss, this one worked pretty well. Here was Friday's bar, very ugly looking bar, and now we've got this 3-day pattern kind of an evening star doji, which calls for lower prices. And today we closed right near the lows of the day. Similar to dollar index, just straight down. Dollar, here's a dollar yen daily, straight down, taking out these old lows that we talked about. Euro had its first bounce in a couple days. Not a reversal pattern, just pretty much an inside bar, right, bumping up against Friday's high, closed just below it. So, it is a dollar week with the Fed meeting, with the Trump tax reform on the first, and we have ADP, and we've got ISM, and then at the end of the week we have the non-farm payrolls and the wage data. So we'll be keeping a close eye on the dollar all week. It's one headline like we had today. Maybe a bit of a stall in some of the tax reform. I think those are the headlines we need to watch. Keep a lookout for all week long, and there are some tradable moves as you see in the dollar yen. Get to an hourly dollar yen just to show you what the break looked like. Through 113.25, again, the news came out. We were trading around 113.50, and we started selling off, and there were a lot of bids around this whole level here. You see all these hourly lows, big support level, and we've just been very sideways since since the 20th or 21st of October. We also have the month-end fix tomorrow. There was some dollar selling today ahead of it, and the early indication is for strong euro buys, moderate Aussie buys, strong cable buys, some dollar yen selling. So we'll see. Again, the fixes, the month-end fixes tomorrow. But anyhow, here's the dollar yen. Once we did break, we couldn't really get back above that level, and that's just consolidate, which is typical of the New York afternoon. Once Europe closes up shop. So best of luck today, and we will be back on tomorrow and keep you up to date on any new developments in the FX space, or any geopolitical announcements, or anything of importance. And we'll be keeping a close eye on some of these dollar pairs this week. All right, best of luck.